Have you all here? I thought tonight's theme was going to be cultivating inner peace. We're going to do a guided meditation that's a different style than the ones we normally do, and it's about making an unshakable stillness, confidence, and peace in ourselves. Then we're going to have a discussion looking at what we just did, but also open to wherever you guys want to take it. And then we'll have our closing meditation. And just to begin, I just want us to start with our intention setting. So my intention is to show you a feeling of amazing deep peace. And I hope the conversations and the practice, more than you just practicing peace, it also enlightens you. It helps you make good states of mind through your life. It helps you notice how your consciousness works. So you could just take a moment. Maybe you want to set that same intention. You're going to give yourself a really peaceful time, and you're going to learn that in yourself. Maybe you're here to be curious. Maybe you're here to learn about meditation. Whatever it is, just try to think of your intention for today. Think of it clearly. And actually, I want to have a bigger intention for all of us. I hope you don't just learn peace, but you can use the same kind of thing to practice happiness or confidence or any kind of transformation in yourself that makes your life more fun. And my intention's even bigger than that. I hope that rubs off on the people around you. And you're like a force for goodness and self-awareness to people around you, that you make your community, your circle of friends, and your world a more creative, easy, enlightened experience for everyone. So, welcome everyone. I'll be guiding the meditation. Just sit back and enjoy. But then afterwards, in the discussion part, I want everyone to engage. If you're out there on the live stream, I'll be checking the chat as often as I can. And if you're here in the temple, make this session awesome for you. Ask whatever you want. Express yourself. Celebrate the nice moments you have or the insights you have. Yeah, I really want this to be excellent for everyone. So we're going to be starting our meditation in just a moment. Can I just ask... sorry. Let me just fix this up. Can I just see with a wave people who've meditated before? All right. Pretty much everybody. But if you're brand new, that's okay. I just invite you to follow along. For the regulars here, you know that normally the meditations I do are very practical. I try to make it watch your mind and guide it directly to the result we want. We're going to do this inner peace meditation today, and it's going to be a guided journey. We're going to walk through a forest and find a lake, which is a different style to what I normally take, but people find these metaphors can be really impactful, sometimes even more than just thinking about peace on its own. So I hope you enjoy it, and I hope the idea of metaphor meditations maybe will become another card in your repertoire. And it's great to have you here on the live stream. I can see a few of you there, and let's dive in. So I just invite everybody to get comfortable. When I think about that, it makes me have a little jiggle, move my butt and my spine and my shoulders. And if you're sitting on a cushion, maybe you can just check your knees, try and get them down a little lower and pull your spine up a little higher. If you're sitting in a chair, maybe you want to sit back into the chair, or maybe you want to sit up straight. Basically, you want to be thinking of a posture that feels like you could just forget your body and it would just sit there peacefully while you go on a journey in your mind. Some people like to describe it as relaxed alertness. So let's just take a few slow, deep breaths and just feel your body and let it adjust into feeling relaxed and alert. And for some of you, concentrating on the body and taking relaxing breaths, you'll just feel all those nice sensations moving through the body or arising in different ways. And if your attention is not really immersed in the body and the relaxing breaths yet, you could just imagine what that would be like. What would it be like to feel my body, really immerse my attention in a relaxing breath and just have my whole body flow into more relaxed, maybe a little more relaxed, maybe profoundly more relaxed. And if your eyes are still open, I invite you to close them and we take our attention into ourself. This is a time with your consciousness. So as the eyes close, and then you feel another few relaxing breaths in your body. Some people will see the parts of their body in their mind. Some people will see the breath expanding and relaxing. Some people will see soothing colors or soothing feelings. Just a few more relaxing breaths as you watch what your consciousness is doing. I just notice the muscles behind my shoulder, and that makes me adjust my posture to let them feel better. So as you keep taking relaxing breaths and just noticing your body, just letting everything adjust into feeling harmonious and aligned. And we're about to start a guided journey. And some of you have vivid visual imaginations. So if I say imagine you're in a forest, you'll see the trees and you'll see the colours of the trees and get a sense of the space around you. Some of you maybe just had little flashes of those images. Instead of seeing it solid, you'll just see the ideas as images for a moment. Or maybe you don't see the images yet. Maybe you just have the ideas, trees around me and the feeling of the atmosphere in a forest and the idea of undergrowth and a path nearby. Some people don't even have a sense of images or spatial things, and that's okay too. With each suggestion that I give, I just invite you to let it guide you in whatever way it guides you. And while we're practicing using different parts of our mind, you could try doing it too. So we're just going to start by noticing one of the trees nearby, and just to really make our visual imagination as alive and present as possible. Imagine looking closely at this tree, and you just trace out the outline in your mind. As I said that, my hand even moved, so you could just see what it's like as your mind moves around the trunk of the tree and the branches. And if you don't normally visualize vividly, maybe you could imagine, if you did, what it would be like to just see the outline of a tree. Then you could remember the color of the bark, maybe the texture of the bark. Maybe you could remember what it feels like to touch the bark of a tree, to move your hand just gently and feel how that texture feels. And as your eyes follow up along the branches, see what it is for your visual mind, for your spatial mind, to move around the tree. And you see the branches and the leaves. Some of you may get a sense for the leaves breathing in the air. Some of you may feel the photosynthesis. Some of you may feel the beauty and the peace. And then as you look around and see the forest where you are, each tree that you look at, let yourself have a moment to see it more vividly, to feel the 3D experience of the tree, to feel the weight of the tree, to see the colors more vibrantly. And as you keep looking around the forest, with each tree you're just making your internal experience richer, stronger, more vivid. As your mind is moving more and more into this forest. Perhaps you can hear some birds singing in the distance. Depending on your forest, maybe you see moss or butterflies or flowers. Maybe there's a light mist, or maybe beautiful sunbeams. And you notice that there is a path beneath you. And you decide to walk the path. As you watch each footstep that you take, letting yourself feel your inner world more vividly. What's it like to feel yourself lifting the knee, placing the foot, lifting the next knee and placing the foot? Just really experiencing your inner world more and more vividly with each step that you take. Some of you might like that metaphor of walking the path. It stands for the journey to enlightenment, the practice of training our consciousness, of refining our ethics and our impact on the world. And as you very consciously walk this path, feeling each step, watching your attention in each moment, noticing the trees moving past you as you move forward with each step. Let your breathing become soothing. Let each moment be enjoyable. So we just gently walk through the forest and enjoy each moment of our experience. And some of you may have been very vivid in seeing the forest and being there fully. And perhaps your mind was going in and out of thoughts, or the imagery was different. So as we take a few more breaths, I invite you to guide your own meditation. Watch your attention and bring yourself more fully into the forest and feeling more present into the soothing meditation. And as you continue to walk, you notice that up ahead there is a bend in the path. And as you walk around that bend, the forest opens up and you see that you've come to a big, beautiful lake. And as you look around the lake, you can see the reflection of the trees all the way around. And it's such a big lake, and seeing those reflections way off in the distance, it's beautiful, it's cute. And you can see the bright blue sky reflecting in the lake, the occasional little fluffy cloud. But then as you look into the lake, you see that it's crystal clear. You can see all the way down. It's perfectly peaceful. It's an ocean of stillness. And you notice just nearby there's a little boat. And so you decide to hop in, give the boat a push. As you begin to float out into the lake, you sit back and you feel how comfortable this little boat is. It's like it was made just for you. And the boat continues to float out into the middle of the lake, like it knows that you're here for a vacation of perfect peace and tranquility. And so you decide to meditate on that perfect peace and tranquility, this lake of stillness. You feel all the stillness that you're floating on. Just all the water is just still and peaceful, and there's so much of it. Just let yourself feel more and more peace, a bigger and bigger peace with each breath that you take. I like to appreciate that each moment that I'm practicing a feeling, it becomes more part of me. So when I take these peaceful breaths, I feel like my inner self is learning greater peace. And that feels even more peaceful. It's like I'm breathing my whole self into tranquility, into equanimity. And then you notice the wind starts to blow a little more. You're just still relaxing. And the wind starts to blow a little more, and the boat starts to rock a little bit. You're still relaxing. So you can hear the little ripples on the waves start to bounce against the boat. You're just choosing to be inner peace. And you imagine the surface of the lake all around you with all those ripples. You think about how big that is. But then you feel the volume of the water underneath. It's infinitely bigger than that little surface of the lake. You just feel into that deep peace underneath the ripples. And the wind picks up even more, and the boat starts to really noticeably bounce. And you sense clouds rolling in the sky, and you look around, and yes, the blue sky is now turned into a cloudy sky. And the wind blows even stronger, and you feel some little splashes. And the boat is really bouncing. And even though all that's happening, you choose to just create your inner peace inside yourself. And then the storm really picks up. The wind starts to feel like it's gusting, and the boat starts to rock, and there's waves on the surface instead of ripples. The clouds feel dark. The storm picks up even more. You're like, what is going on? I came here for inner tranquility. Why is this storm here? So you decide to cross your legs and put your hands to your heart. Close your eyes and step into meditation as you dive your mind down into the water. You imagine splashing down under the water, and instantly everything is still. You look up and you can see the waves on the surface, and it's just so beautiful, the perfect stillness underneath. Your body's still sitting up there on the boat, so it's okay, you can breathe. It's a meditation lake. And you're just really feeling this huge stillness down and around you, as far as you can stretch your imagination, is unshakable peace. And I invite you to dive into that, practicing this massive, unshakable peace, cultivating it, growing it in yourself, being this lake of stillness. Every breath you take, try to imagine a bigger peace, a deeper stillness. And this is your meditation lake. So as you look up at the surface, you imagine it becoming still. And the waves drop, and the surface becomes ripples. And then you imagine that becoming stillness. And the surface becomes almost flat. And then you imagine it becoming flat. And as you look through the surface, you can sense the wind is still blowing, the storm is still there. But when looking at the storm through the clear mind, it seems so much more peaceful and easy to handle. And then you let your meditation self come back up into your body in the boat. You're sitting in the boat, feeling this strong stillness. As the breeze blows past you, every breeze just makes you feel more powerful, stronger, and more centered. And you suddenly feel really warm. And you look around and you see that a gap has appeared in the clouds, and there's a sunbeam, a big sunbeam is landing right on you, which makes you smile. You imagine if someone was on the side of the lake looking at you, sitting there meditating in the boat, and then this big sunbeam opened up on you. How beautiful that would look as you just soak up that warmth. And like all storms, this too shall pass. The wind fades. The clouds roll away. The blue sky returns. You feel warm, still, peaceful. You feel the ocean of peace that you're floating on. You imagine if forever when you think of yourself, your consciousness, you think of your conscious mind as floating on this ocean of peace. Any ripples or waves, you know they're just on the surface, and you connect to that profound power inside that is bigger. You are this lake of peace. And even the biggest storm can't shake anything more than just the surface. Then you notice the boat has started to gently float back towards the side of the lake. Perhaps you feel that you'd like to spend more time here. And that's okay. You know that you could come and do this meditation anytime you need. You appreciate everything you've cultivated, everything you learned about guiding your mind, or perspectives or feelings that you practiced. As the boat reaches the side of the lake and you get out and you look back at this vast lake, the reflections around, the blue sky, the deep, deep stillness. As you feel yourself, as you feel your subconscious settling more, things becoming clearer and easier. Knowing that you can come on this meditation anytime that you want. But you also take a moment to remember that feeling in the midst of the storm where you took a deep breath, you dived within, instant peace. Just take a few deep breaths and imagine that you'll carry that with you forever. Anytime you just dive within, instant peace. And as you turn to walking along the path, really walking the path, feeling a sense of presence and strength and joy with each step that you take. And then you notice others also walking the path. And you all catch up to each other and walk along, giving them all a nod, a knowing, peaceful presence. And you see a temple up ahead, and you all walk in and take your seats on the cushions. You have just another few moments of meditating. And over the next minute or two, you can finish the meditation in whichever way feels good for you right now. And perhaps you could think about the moments from the meditation that you'd like to remember. Maybe some moments or some insights you'd like to share. So often we share after the meditation, and I invite us all to try and share the best moments or the interesting insights. After that, if there was any questions or difficulties, let's discuss those. But first we focus on the positivity so that we can all relish in the best moments that we had. And that when you think of meditation, you mostly remember guiding yourself into those moments that were most helpful. So you create more and more of those helpful moments. Konkon?
I would like to share my experience in meditation. Um, so, when we were getting into it, the sensation, the texture of the tree, I really felt into not just the tree, but the surrounding area, the environment, the tree, the the part that goes into the ground, and then I felt the grass, the dirt, the textures, the dust, the smell, the heat from the sun, everything, the wind, the leaves blowing, and then when you said below, well, I saw a path like going into the tree, like, and then I walked down there, and it was like a weird wind tornado, and it just went spiraling down, and there was reflections, there was trees, and then we got to the lake, and then well, before that part, I was walking on a dirt path in like the countryside, and then to a point we got to took a right path from there, and then I saw the crystal lake. There was a waterfall. There was a whole thing. Um, Went down another waterfall. It was like waterfall up here, down lake, waterfall down. Went down the waterfall into bigger and bigger lakes until at one point a big ocean everywhere. It was, and I was on like a wooden surface with fire right between my legs, and it was going up, and the moon was big, and it was all whole scenery. When we got finished, I got on, I guess, a beach, and then we went up this like egg pod thing, like with a lot of like millions of stairs everywhere, going to this giant white pod, and then we all just like merged into one light, and that like when the meditation ended, then expanded into my body, and I was like, what in the world? What am I imagining? But yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Sounds like you had a really good time. How did it feel?
Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Awesome. Thanks so much for sharing. Now, for some of us, when we meditate, we don't have any of these wild experiences that just carry us away. But then sometimes we do. So if your meditation, you were just like trying to hear some of the ideas and you're like, whoa, how come he got that? The more you meditate, the more moments you have that are profoundly peaceful, or the more moments you have where your imagination just creates something beautiful for you. So Konkon, thanks for sharing and giving us a glimpse into something creative and beautiful. Dark Roast, I think you were next.
Yeah, when we got to the edge of the lake and we were
looking at the water and the reflections. Um, when you said that the water was clear, crystal clear, I imagined sticking my head into the water and drinking it.
Mm.
All I could think about.
The first thing I think of when I hear that is it's a metaphor for like perfect peace or enlightenment. So yeah, drink deep. That's great. Mm. And Sun Mills, yes, Sun Milk. You raised your hand. Hey, you're really quiet for me. Can you get closer to your mic or something?
Oh, I just need to change it.
There we go.
When you're describing a storm
Check the microphone
forming,
you're using.
It's on for me now.
it's better now.
It's crystal clear for me now.
Okay. So when you were describing the storm forming, I was considering the perspective of like a drop of water. Like, would it notice the chaos around it forming? Would it be content with like becoming part of the waves? And it's also like, does a drop of water even exist, or is it just a lake? Like, are there drops of water inside the lake?
I'm just being silent to let people contemplate it. That's beautiful questions. How was the experience for you?
Usually when I meditate, I don't do guided meditations. I just do like breath meditations. So it was mixture of pace, and I think like having someone tell me what to focus on is I guess like easier than making myself focus on something.
Well, we do these every week, and often we do breathing meditations, which are also guided. So I hope you join us more often. Claxon?
I had a question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Early at the beginning of the meditation, you mentioned something. I forget exactly how you phrased it, but you said every time you meditate, you feel like it's becoming you're becoming better at it, more proficient, or it's becoming more part of each experience is becoming more part of you. I forget how you worded that, but I thought that was something that would made me want to meditate more to sort of, it's like a motivating factor.
Wonderful. Yeah, actually that's one of my big hopes is the more we do mind training, whether it's peaceful meditation or happiness meditation or any kind of habit training, the more you do it, the more natural it feels and the stronger it feels. And what blows me away is when you practice something a lot, it kind of becomes epic. Like, the peace that we just felt. Some of you might have just felt peace that's more peaceful than you've ever felt before. And when you practice that a lot, then wow, you suddenly have this like super peace as part of your life. And I found the same thing is true for breathing meditation each day or kindness meditation or any other kind of practice that we do. So yeah, that motivation for people to like try doing it lots, that's really one of the things that drives me in these classes. So I'm glad you had that moment. Two thoughts I wanted to respond. You were saying maybe I said something like every time you meditate it gets better. Just to be real about it, the tendency is that it gets better and better. But you might have an amazing meditation one day where you're having visions, and then the next day you might be like, oh, where's my mind going? And that's okay. Like, it fluctuates. But we tend to get better and better. So always be kind and patient with yourself with each meditation. And that idea about what we practice, it becomes part of us, it rubs off on us. From my studies and experience, if you take that perspective and you like intend for that to happen, then it happens more effectively. So if we were in a place where we were meditating on peace right now, maybe the peace would rub off on some of us. And if we did it many, many times over years, I'd hope it would rub off on all of us. But I intentionally say, hey, imagine this becoming part of you. Because I think if you have that idea in your mind, then your self starts practicing the peace. Like we're actively cultivating it into who we are. So yeah, thanks for reflecting that back at us, and may we all be super motivated to practice lots and explore. Con, you've got another thought or question?
I wanted to, I don't know if the word was he was looking for
Equanimity.
I think that was, I don't know if that was related to the exact thought that I was pointing out.
Yeah, when I said that, I was like, oh, that's such an obscure word. I hope that people know what it means. I mean, I've hung out with Buddhist monks and heard it a lot, so now it's a natural word for me. But I had to have it explained to me a bunch of times. I think the best explanation I had was that it's a kind of peace that is unshakable, like a lake. The inside of the lake is just always stillness. So when you have equanimity, it's nothing can shake you. You are this peaceful presence. Oh, my little guy's just come into the room. Hey, little guy, I'm in the temple. Do you want to sit with us?
Yeah.
All right. Come here. Is that a stretch or a comment, Geeknificent?
I'm coming to VR.
Okay. You want to come into VR?
Yeah.
All right. Maybe you can go set up the VR headset. Oh, no, I was talking to my little boy. He wants to come join us in the temple. Mama, can you put him in?
Let's go downstairs. And not go downstairs.
You want to put him in?
He needs to go on your headset, logged in as you. Can you take him?
Yeah, do you want him to go in or do
Yeah.
you? Okay, come with me.
All right. Sorry about that, Vangela. What was your... He's asking, why is there a mushroom in the temple? Off you go. I'll see you in here in just a minute.
I'm excited to see your little one. I was just going to say, I'm excited to be here. This is my first time, so thanks for having me. I also wanted to apologize for puppy ears. I did not realize I was sitting on your lap. And lastly, I wanted to say, I really enjoyed this. I benefited from it so much because I actually stopped doing meditations in the same way that I did in the past. Anyways, my grandmother moved away in October. Her home was what I considered my home, and she sold it. So I benefited so much from this because it was a reminder that my home was never that building, but rather, another space entirely. So just a reminder to continue meditation, to hang out in my home, for lack of a better term.
Beautiful. Yeah, if we can encourage everyone to feel a sense of home within themselves, I think the world would be a much more comfortable, caring place. So thank you so much for sharing. And as I said, we do this every week, and the community does many times a week. So I hope you join us as often as you can. I just see on the live chat, Witch Make Hair halfway through their headset died, and they jumped from VR into the live stream. So great, glad you came back and continue to join us. And Shine says, cool, sending love. Shine, I hope you come into the temple and join us here sometime as well. It's good to have you here with us. Con?
Okay. Do you mean the Discord, or do you mean like the Buddhism other Discord that's like the bigger one? They come in here and do this as well?
Right now I'm talking about people writing on the live chat with YouTube and Facebook.
Oh, you mean you do it online, not just here?
Yeah, there's like 2 people watching us right now. And they wrote in on... Oh yeah, I've got a floating overview right here where I can see them responding to the video. Yeah.
Alright,
Does that make sense?
fair enough. Oh, I was more curious about whether you meant like another community, like the bigger one on Discord, the Buddhism one, if they like do more meditations than
Oh, okay. So,
community.
the Shoshin community is the one that uses this temple. They have the link to the community out on the board outside the door, and they have about 5 or 6 sessions here a week. And around the world, there are millions of meditations every week. And I hope that people like the way I approach it, because I think it's a unique combination of many styles and trying to just really refine the best things of all the styles that I've practiced. So I'm always happy when I see people coming regularly, and there's a sense of community around mental empowerment combined with mindfulness.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, I mean, I think I'm done asking questions, I guess.
So I want to tell the story. I read this lake meditation in a meditation book, and it described that you'll cultivate this unshakable peace. And I thought, well, that sounds like a very good quality. I would like to have my inner self just always have this stillness and peace available. So I did this lake meditation every day for a month. And at the end of the month, the size of the peace that I could feel was massive. Like I was able to imagine being this giant lake of peace. And then when troubles came in life, the wind, the storm on the outside, I was just unshakable. So if you liked this style, I would encourage you to either guide it for yourself. We'll go to the lake, you go out, and you just feel more and more of the stillness. Just practice expanding into more and more stillness. Make it feel better and better and bigger. Or if you'd like, this was recorded on YouTube. You can go and look it up and listen to it being guided. And I can almost promise you that if you do it every day for a week or for a month, the size of the stillness, the impact of the stillness, the transformation of this meditation will be bigger than you're imagining right now. Magnificent?
I actually kind of got lost in the meditation and I came out of it a little late. I was sitting there, well, when you were initially describing the tree, I got lost in imagining the tree, and, I started imagining, like, this very grand, very vibrant multicolored tree instead of just a normal, brown and green tree. And it seemed almost like it had a crystalline bark reflecting the light into a variety of vibrant colors.
Beautiful.
And then when you had us go into the path, it's like a path opened up in the middle of the trunk that I could walk through.
Similar
And
to
then there was
Con.
and then there was this lake that wasn't just reflecting the sky, but when I looked into the lake, I was seeing reflections of all these possibilities of what the world could be like.
Wow.
So then the boat just kind of drifted off into the lake, and every possibility was slowly just changing as the clouds passed over. Kind of like a holographic card with multiple pictures on it.
Did some ways of being or some ways the world could be stand out to you, or how was that for you?
It was really interesting, actually, because there were some versions of the world that reminded me that things could be a lot worse than they are now. And then some versions that were possible that things could be a lot better, a lot more utopian. Like the idea of people seeing these intricate, abstract, towering white buildings in like something that you might see out of, I think Tomorrowland comes to mind.
Does anyone know I would have just heard 3 little beeps in my headset? Beep, beep, beep.
That might be a low battery warning.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just plugged my other handset in. Con, I'll come back to you in a moment. Sometimes when I'm talking to people about brain programming or meditating on happiness or kindness or expressiveness or being better at sport or like being able to transform ourselves into anything, people are like, well, if you could be anything, if you could feel anything, like what does it matter? What would you choose? Like if you could just as easily enjoy junk food or super healthy food, like what does it matter? And I like the question of like, what would be the best world? And when I imagine the best world I can imagine, then that helps me guide what do then I want to choose. So if I could imagine a world where people are healthy and full of energy, that to me is better than a world where people have health problems and get sick and don't feel as like strong in their bodies. But then the same thing's true for like kindness or the kind of things I'd like to learn or create. So when you mentioned that you were seeing all these possible worlds, it reminded me that this is a really helpful question for me. It's like, imagine the best world you could imagine and then be that kind of person. I mean, Gandhi has the famous quote, be the change you want to see in the world. I realized after I had started using that yeah, this is a pretty famous saying, but actually meditating on it, try and imagine the best possible world and then be that person. Not only for decision making, but also for motivation. You know, when you're thinking about how kind do I want to meditate on? Oh yeah, I could be a little kinder. Oh, but if I imagine a world where everyone's really, really caring and supportive and friendly, wow, that world feels great. That makes me want to practice being really caring and friendly and supportive. So I hope that's an idea that many of you will meditate on often. Try and imagine an awesome world and use that for motivation and decision making. Con, you had something you wanted to say?
I don't know, but that thingy right there, that's like a pedestal thingy or whatever.
Yep.
Is there anything on it? Is there any papers or?
There's a book that doesn't open. There's a video player that doesn't work. There's a switch to turn the sound on and off. And then there's a logo switch. Can you hear the music? The flutes and the birds?
Let me see. No, I can't. It's on 7.5, but I can't hear anything.
Well, yeah, we can turn it on and off. And there's also the ability to have a big Buddha logo at the back.
That's pretty cool.
I want these sessions to be for everyone. And while you can definitely have secular Buddhism, where the teachings are all just practical and applicable, there are many Buddhist groups that aren't that. And so I want these lessons to be for everybody. So I don't use the logo anymore.
Yeah. Do you think, as we grow, not just from this moment, but in the future and as life grows, do you think when we find each other later in life, and do you think we'll feel different? Maybe we'll connect in a deeper sense, more of a, hey, I know you from this place. It's good to see you in real life now. Been like, 10 years? Wow, it's crazy. Yeah.
I would love that. Having community has been one of the best things in my life. And sometimes when I see avatars just come and go, I wish that we had more of a real life connection. I hope that we all become friends or stay friends over the years. I would love to have a real world community one day, living with a bunch of filmmakers and game designers and media makers that are spreading enlightenment. So if we ever did that as a community, that would be great. Or a retreat center where people could come and visit sometimes. I know Zenkai, who created the world and the logo, he bought land in Canada to create a retreat center. Perhaps we'll all go on some retreats there at some point.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. Before you finish the question, I thought you were asking in terms of meditation, does that deepen or enrich the way that we connect? And I've definitely...
I think as we, as people develop ourselves and choose to really connect, not just with ourselves, but with everything, possibly, wood in this floor. It may not be here, but you can still imagine how this might feel if you were. How the life you want will grow once you participate and give yourself into that world. You give it more, and then it builds, and it becomes more of a reality because your manifestation would be a quicker term for that, but you can truly manifest, I think, if you give yourself into the life you truly want.
Yeah, I've definitely found that the more compassion meditation I do, the better my friendships feel, and the more we feel quickly able to open up and share things that we love. And I want a world where people are just feeling cared for and caring and connecting wonderfully. So I wish that for all of you and for all of us.
Oh, you guys are all behind me. I was like, yeah, okay, that's cool. I came back, came this close because I don't know, like, in your videos what you read is. I'm like, I can't really hear myself, so I'm like up here now. I'm like, oh, I wonder if I can hear myself better. I might watch this video and make sure.
We can hear everybody inside the temple. If they're off in the distance, we can't hear them.
Yeah, I don't know.
Con, I just want to check in with
Yes.
everybody. Anyone who's been sitting here a bit quieter, would anyone like to share a moment from the meditation, or perhaps just a nice feeling you had? Or maybe someone who's been a bit quieter has any questions about the practice today or about meditation in general? Man, still, is that everything's good? Yeah. Cool. All right, Con, what's your next big, profound question?
We go on and on, man. Up. But I don't know. I mean, a lot of things I think will just get better and better as life goes on. Maybe one day I'll become a psychologist, a doctor, and I'll be so rich, and I'll spread my wealth to other people and charities, and maybe, do the best I can to help out community. Maybe I can fund this place and make it the textures insane, the optimization crazy. You guys make new designs and add stuff to it. Could make VRChat funded, just everything. Have more of a builded sense realism. Maybe I can fund technology to make Oculus cheaper and more advanced. Who knows?
I'm pretty excited about where this technology is going to be in a couple of years. It seems to just be getting better and better.
Still expensive, but it'll get cheaper, and then you'll get more options to it.
I mean, if you look at mobile phones, when they first came out, they were only for the most rich, and then a little while later they were for wealthy people, and now everyone in the world has a mobile phone. Or 90% of people.
Yeah, like a flip phone or a nice little. I think the one I have is like $250. It's not here right now. It's at my dad's house, but he lives like in Kentucky, so he's quite a while away. But anyhow.
Hey, I want to ask, Conscious Buddha, I see you just joined us, and to everybody, these sessions, my hope is that they are as helpful and as enlightening for you as possible. And one of the ways I try to achieve that is by just continuing to remind us that that's our intention. So I say that because I want to get the seed of awesome questions planted in your mind. See if you can come up with something that you think would be really helpful for you. Something enlightening about meditation or about life or philosophy. But something really practical that's good for everybody. I mean, if you feel like it's just great for you, that's good to ask too. And in that context of trying to make these sessions as helpful as possible, I just want to say a little bit more about why I guide an inner peace meditation. So yes, it is very nice to feel really peaceful feelings. And you practice it a lot and the peace gets super good. That's great. Some people might even say though, like, oh, what's the point of peace? You got to be driven in life, rah rah. And so I say that because I want to talk about the benefit of peace, but also the benefit that comes from practicing these meditations. My hope is that you do some peace meditation sometimes, and then the next month you do a lot of love and kindness meditations, and the next month you do a lot of excited, driven, expressive meditations. And so you feel empowered that you just have the ability to choose the feelings that you want at different times. It's like you've consciously made the palette of your mind, the way you paint your pictures of your life, you've made them more beautiful and more stronger and more richer. There are definitely some meditation schools where they're just like, chill out. We're all just gonna chill out. And I don't want that. I mean, maybe if that's what you want, great. What I want is for us all to be fully empowered. So whatever you choose, whatever you imagine is the best world, the best you, that you can do that. So yeah, doing this inner peace meditation is just one tool in your toolkit. And I do it with that intention, that you then have this ability. Wow, I made super peace. I'm going to try making super happiness. I'm going to try making super patience. I'm going to try and make it that in my classes, I am so focused and fascinated, no matter what the teacher is like. Like brain training and whatever you need, whatever you choose, that is my intention. And so I hope whenever we're doing any kind of practice, you just go at it with all your creativity and excitement, because it's a skill for you. It's a skill that adds to your mental toolkit. Actually, come to think about it, maybe I should pick a theme and do that theme for a month, so we actually get to experience making that one really, really good. Perhaps we could line up all our classes to do that, and then the next month would be a different theme. One more thing I wanted to say, Con, then I'll come to you. So as well as us getting really good at just making great states of mind, there's another benefit that I really like about peace. And that is, a lot of life, we're reacting to stuff. It could be the kind of big reaction that most of us think of. Something happens that would trigger some intense emotion, and there's your reaction. But I'm also meaning more subtle reactions, like the way you feel about a burrito, or the way you talk to a friend. Like these are all stimulus response. We're just reacting to stuff. And when we learn to have stillness in our mind, instead of just running on reaction or on autopilot, you're able to sort of notice, oh, that's what my autopilot would have done. And then you can ask yourself, well, actually, how loving and kind do I want to be when I speak to this friend? Or is this a healthy, cruelty-free burrito? How do I want to feel about this burrito? And the more we have access to stillness, the more we can step out of any of our old habits and start to be a more empowered designer of ourselves. Like, what would the best you be like? What would be the happiest, kindest, funnest, most easeful, confident, relaxed version of you? And yes, you can do that without peace. You can just keep practicing envisaging your most awesome self, but that you have some of your old habits and the new habits you're making both growing. And so being able to give yourself stillness is like whenever there's a tug of war between the old habit and the new habit, you can just stop. Just let your whole mind be still, and then just fully step into the habits and the choices that you want to step into. Now, some people might be saying, well, breathing meditation that people use to watch each moment of their consciousness and let all the activity of their mind settle, that is different than intentionally relaxing, intentionally feeling deep peace. And yes, that's true, but I found that each of those practices enrich each other. If you do breathing meditation and watch what it's like to just let go, still, let go, you get into one kind of stillness. And then the kind of stillness that the lake meditation can take you into, it's, everybody's experience is different, but for me, it's kind of more like a blissful wow feeling. But it still has that sense of like being able to just jump out of the storm, just stop what my mind's doing and come into this centeredness where I'm then free to choose. So, I thoroughly recommend people practice relaxation, stillness, inner peace meditations, as well as focused breathing meditations. All right, that's what I wanted to say about what's my motivation for sharing the inner peace meditation. Con, you had something you wanted to say?
I'd like to say two things. I might forget the second one. I know I'm going to say the first one, which is I wanted to ask if I could suggest a theme, if not for this month, then maybe next month, because I don't know if we're going to be doing inner peace all this month, considering this one is really very beneficial. I hope for everyone, but especially for myself. And then the second question I think was, no, I'll just make up a second question. When I think about myself, I don't think about my body. I think about a feeling, a deep within the body, within the mind, within the soul itself. There's an essence, an energy. It could be a color, it could be a feeling. It's both. It's all. It's like in that single bit of within. It's almost as if it's infinitely deep, as if it's infinitely whole. An expression of trueness to the self, expression of inner feeling.
So you said, could we have inner peace as 1 month's theme? And then you said that when you think of yourself, you have this sense of it's not just your body, it's not just your mind, it's something bigger and deeper, something true. That sounds great. I definitely hope that all of us, when we think of ourself, you think of yourself in the most empowering way possible. Conscious Buddha, did you have something you wanted to say or ask?
Oh, I'm good.
Okay. Let's just check the time.
I'm gonna wait outside, but I appreciate this meditation, man. You're doing very well as a practitioner in this kind of stuff, and I'll be back. Just so you know, probably try to do this every day. Well, 5, 6 days. Anyhow, I'll be back.
Do you mean back today? I'm wondering if I should wait to do the closing meditation or if we should do it soon.
I'll be back in here for the 10-minute one. I just wanna look outside over the horizon.
Cool. Come back soon and we'll do our closing meditation when you get back. As soon as you're ready.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Well, you guys can holler for me, I guess.
Con just reminded me that we're planning to run an in real life retreat in a couple of months. We're in California, so I wonder if anyone in the community will be able to attend. And I'm also thinking about perhaps running some virtual retreats, or maybe a weekend of many classes. So I hope that's something that we might all enjoy. All right. For those of you who are here, like I said, these sessions are for you. I've presented what my plan was for today. My only other plan for today is a closing meditation. But these sessions are for you. Is there anything you would like to ask about from today? Anything you'd like to share that might then be a springboard for me to share something else that I hope will be very helpful? And those of you out on the live stream, I see you here. I'd love to hear from you. Well, if that's the case, Manstil, could you go and tell Concom we're going to do our closing meditation in a minute? So Vangala, it was great to have you here, and I'm glad that the meditation took you to that peaceful place within. Other
I didn't go. I just gonna let them know, but I just feel like run off in the sunset and do my own thing. But
all right,
meditation.
bye Concon.
Love you guys.
Love you too.
Later.
So as I was saying, I try to have a tool chest of exercises and perspectives. So today we practiced a guided meditation for inner peace. We do mindfulness breathing meditation to learn how to really closely watch each moment of our consciousness and be able to guide where our attention and where our feelings go. We do compassion meditation. We apply the realization that we can shift our mind. We apply that to all different parts of our life, like being happier in social situations, enjoying school or work more, being better at sport, being healthier. Sometimes we've done laughter and joy meditations. It's just similar to today, where we tried to create deeper and deeper peace, where we just create bigger and bigger happiness. I've spent a decade or two in many different religions and lineages, and I've tried to bring the best of all of them, and also be critical of the parts of the teachings that aren't as empowered as others. So if each one of them is a tool that makes your mind sharper, I've tried to sharpen each one of them to cut away anything that's less helpful and leave just the most helpful, empowered parts. So I hope that sounds great. That's what I try to have drive these classes and this community. And yeah, with that, we're going to begin our closing meditation. Welcome to those of you who just jumped on the live stream. It's good to have more of you here. And let's just dive in. So I want to make this a fun and strong meditation. So I just sat up straight, and I invite you to do the same. Feel your shoulder muscles. Pull your shoulders back and up a little bit. Pull your neck up a little bit. Close your eyes and feel the muscles around your mouth. Stretch a little smile, and then take a big, strong breath. We're just setting the intention that we want to have a fun meditation, something in inspiring, exploring positivity. So take another deep breath and just think of fun and happiness and positivity. And some of you know that when you practice different feelings, those feelings become part of you. And if you didn't know that, there are really good ways to do that. So let's just take a couple of breaths and imagine how great that is. Feel that you can create deep peace. You can create greater happiness. Even if you don't know how to, you'll learn here and in the community, or just going looking for that in the world. You can find ways to transform your conscious experience. So let's just take a few breaths and imagine happiness and bliss and joy and positivity, the kinds of well-being that you would create if you could create any kinds of states of mind you want. And when we learn to watch our consciousness more carefully, we can see the thoughts and the attitudes that help us. And we can see the ones that don't. And I want you to imagine if you really took that to heart and you guided each moment of your life to make you great. You're empowered, you're happy, you're strong. You're patient and caring, and you're a positive influence on those around you. And I want us to find the essence of empowerment or enlightenment. When you think about having home within yourself, when you think about learning mindfulness, cultivating peace, imagine that idea of yourself, that part of you that can do peace, mindfulness, positivity. And I want you to feel that that part of you is more empowered, is stronger with each breath you take. You're great. You're kind. You're mindful. Your presence for others is peace-bringing or insightful. That's really special. And as we begin to wrap up the meditation, I just invite you to imagine being mindful throughout your day, carrying this peace with you, making nice moments for yourself. Priming yourself to be happy, to be confident, or priming yourself with whatever will be most helpful. When something's coming up, get yourself ready to be awesome in each thing you do. Be your own coach, be your own uplifting friend.